How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggins Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time for this new episode for the series is going to be my review on the 2024 fantasy comedy film, and this is based off the children's book of the same name that was made back in 1955 by Crockett Johnson, and that is Harold and the Purple Crayon. This is directed by Saladana, and this is actually his very first time directing a live-action feature film. And he has done a few films before already, in which they were animated films, in which most of his animated films that he's made were from Blue Sky Studios, in which he was the co-director for both Ice Age and Robots, and he was the sole director for Ice Age: The Meltdown, Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs, the two Rio movies, and Ferdinand, which that was his last film he did before he did this movie. And like I already mentioned, this is based off the children's book Harold and the Purple Crayon. And in this film, inside of his book, we follow adventurous Harold, who is played by Zachary Levi, who can make anything come to life by simply drawing it, by using his purple crayon. And after he grows up and draws himself off the book's pages and into the physical world, we see that Harold finds that he has a whole lot to learn about real life. So that's pretty much the story of Harold and the Purple Crayon. I never read the book when I was a kid or anything, but when I did see the trailers for this movie, this one did look a little bit interesting to me here, since this was a new family film that was based off a children's book. And when it comes to like these kind of movies, there have been a fair amount of them in recent years that I found surprisingly not too bad when it came to these kind of movies. Like there were a few I found myself surprisingly having a good time with, although there have been a few in recent years that I didn't find myself really appreciated with that much. But I was still willing to check this one out here, even though, again, I knew nothing about the book because, again, I've never even read it before when I was a kid. So I went to this film knowing nothing about the book. And this film came out on the 2nd of August this year, which I didn't see this on opening day, but I did see this the next day, which was the 3rd of August, and I did see this one at my job for free. And there was a fair amount of people on the screen that I was in. There was a fair amount of adults and children who were in the same screen that I was for this movie. And after watching this whole movie here, unfortunately, I did not find myself really appreciated with this one here, because I just didn't really like this movie here, unfortunately. First off, Zachary Levi, I could tell like he was having a lot of fun with this movie as Harold, and I thought for the most part he was overall pretty solid in the movie as Harold. And he did feel like what he was like in the Shazam films all over again, because in those films he was like a childish adult, and he's like that all over again, but within this movie here. And Lil Rel Howery as Moose, I thought he was pretty solid and yeah, pretty funny for the most part, as well as with Tanya Reynolds as well. Like she was pretty solid and pretty funny in the movie as Porcupine. And Zooey Deschanel as Terry, I thought she was pretty good in the film. And the young actor Benjamin Bottani, who plays Mel, I thought he was pretty solid in the film. And Jermaine Clement, who plays the villain, Gary, I could tell like he was having fun with this movie here as well, and he was pretty solid in the film, but yeah, he is pretty silly as well. However, when it comes to the storytelling for the film, like the main storytelling here for this film, I kind of felt it was predictable, because it does follow the exact same formula that we've seen before in the past, like with these kids' movies, in which the overall main storytelling for the film here is that we do see like Harold and his friends leaving their world and entering our world, which it is a fish out of water story. And again, it is something that we've seen before in the past, in which when it came to that aspect of its storytelling here for the film, I kind of felt it was a bit rushed. And the film storytelling as well, I also kind of felt was jumbled, because there's a bunch of storylines that's going on in this film here. Like you've got one with Mel, who's being bullied in school, and you've got one with Terry, who hates doing her job, and you've got one with Porcupine, who becomes a fugitive, and you've got one with Gary, who wants to use Harold's purple crayon so he can use it for his own purposes, in which they just wants to take over the world with it and all that. In which, when it came to those kind of storytellings in the film, yeah, I just found myself really uninterested with them, and yeah, I just found them really generic and cliched. And there are even times where I kind of felt the storytelling here for this film kind of felt questionable. A few parts of it, like how, like unlike where, like when we do see like Moose and Porcupine become humans in the film, which for that I kind of felt that I kind of felt some of that in the film pretty questionable. But I did like the overall message of the film, which is basically about creativity and imagination, which is probably something that we've seen before in the past with from like other kids movies. But I overall found it pretty strong here. And as for its effects in the film, when we do see like Harold using his purple crayon to draw anything to come to life, I kind of felt the effects were pretty iffy when it came to some of that, as well as with its CGI, in which I thought the CGI was pretty messy here when it comes to some of the creatures that we do see in the film, and the green screen as well. I kind of felt was pretty messy as well, and I also did feel it was pretty noticeable when it came to some of that in this film here. But all in all, Harold and the Purple Crayon, it was just overall just a generic family film here. But it is one I would say it's probably serviceable for children here, because I can definitely see that children would definitely have a lot of fun with this movie. And adults, they may enjoy this one, but for me, they'll probably be like with me here, just not really appreciated with this one here. But if you are a fan of the book, or you're a fan of any of the stars like Zachary, Levi, again, I would say this is definitely a really good treat for the children here. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Harold and the Purple Crayon. I'm going to give Harold and the Purple Crayon 1.5 out of 5. As I already mentioned, it's definitely a serviceable film for children here, and yeah, it is also pretty harmless as well here. But for me, in all honesty, it's definitely one I wouldn't find myself ever revisiting again here. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After I Saw review on Harold and the Purple Crayon, and let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen this already or just recently check this out. Did you have fun with this, or was this now your popcorn tree? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Foggins Media Corner signing off.